Picture this, it is month end at a retail company. Finance asks one simple question, what were last month's sales? The warehouse says one number, the Power BI report says another, and nobody can explain why. The reason is brutal, the same sales data was copied 5 times over. Most teams do exactly this, they copy data between tools again and again. OneLake says something radical. Copy it 0 times, get this one idea. And Microsoft Fabric stops feeling like a dozen disconnected products. One copy, every engine. Take a look at the simplest way to understand this. You already know OneDrive. It gives your whole organization one place for files. Everyone's documents live in one logical spot. OneLake does exactly that, but for data, it is one logical tenant-wide data lake. And here is the part people miss. It comes with Fabric automatically. You do not provision it, you do not wire up storage accounts. It is just there for everyone. OneDrive for data, that is the whole mental model. We just covered the analogy. Now let us see the pain it was built to kill. In the old world, every analytics tool was greedy. Each one wanted your data in its own store, in its own format. So what did teams do? They copied the same data again and again, one copy per engine, and every copy carries a hidden tax, another pipeline to maintain, another bill on the invoice, another version that quietly drifts out of sync. That is the mess OneLake was designed to end. So how does OneLake actually split things up? Here is the key move. Storage is the single OneLake underneath. The engines are separate workloads sitting on top of it, and the data lives in open table formats. Generally Delta and Parquet, not some locked proprietary engine format. That openness is everything. Because the format is open, any Fabric engine can read the same files and write them to one open store, many isolated engines on top. Let us make that concrete with 3 real tools. Your warehouse query reads a table. Your Spark notebook reads a table. Your Power BI report reads a table. Here is the punchline. It is the same table. No exports, no nightly sync jobs, no asking which copy is current. There is one copy, so you pick the right engine for each job. SQL for one task, Spark for another, BI for the dashboard, and they all share the same truth underneath. That is the payoff. Now meet the feature that makes this real. Shortcuts. A shortcut references data exactly where it already lives. It does not copy it. Point at data in another Fabric workspace or generally at external cloud storage, and you query it in place. Think of it like a symlink or a shared folder in OneDrive, one source of truth, but it appears in many places at once. Reference in place, zero copy. Here is what shortcuts buy you in practice. You land your data once. Then shortcuts let every workload reach it without a copy job. Write a lakehouse table and the warehouse sees it instantly. So does your buy layer. Same bytes, no movement, and this kills a tax you have been paying for years. The export and import tax between tools. That one tax used to dominate entire pipelines. Now it is just gone. Land once, use everywhere. Let me tell you about a real migration team. A retail company mid-migration. They had one sales table copied into 3 places, a warehouse, a lake house, and a separate buy extract. 3 copies meant 3 refresh jobs. The numbers drifted apart and finance escalated it every single month. End. Then they made one change. They landed the sales table once in OneLake and pointed all 3 engines at it. The sync jobs disappeared. The drift disappeared. The month end fire drill disappeared. 3 copies and 3 jobs became 1 copy and 0 jobs. Here is the piece that surprises Power BI users. Direct Lake Power BI can read the OneLake delta tables directly. No separate import step, no copy of the data into the model. It aims to give you the best of both worlds, the speed of import mode with the freshness of live data against one copy. So your report sits on the very table your pipeline just wrote. There is no refresh and duplicate step in the middle. Direct Lake, no import copy. Now let us talk like architects. Shortcut or a real copy? Choose a shortcut when you want one source of truth, always current data, and no pipeline to babysit. But a deliberate copy still has its place. Maybe you need a frozen isolated snapshot, or you want to decouple from a fragile flaky source. So here is the rule, default to a shortcut. Copy only when you have a clear reason to diverge from the source. Intent first, then the mechanism. Let me show you the trap people fall into, the anti-pattern. Here's the wrong move. You export a lakehouse table just to load it into the warehouse or to push it into a buy model. Why does that break now? You have 2 copies that drift apart, 2 bills and a sync job you have to babysit forever. Here is the right move instead. Shortcut to the one table or read it directly. Reference do not duplicate. Picture this your warehouse and your report show different numbers. Same metric, two different answers. That is the symptom. Now here is the diagnosis. You are not reading one shared table. You are reading two copies that quietly drifted. The copy was the bug all along. And the fix is simple. Collapse them down to a single source. Replace the copy with a shortcut or with a direct read. One source, one answer. Now, think about running this in production. Governance. One logical lake means one place to organize and secure everything. Not a dozen scattered stores you have to chase. Permissions and lineage are generally managed centrally through the fabric governance layer. But here is a subtle gotcha. A shortcut points at a source somewhere else. So always check who can reach the underlying data, not just who can see the pointer. Permission follows the source, verify it. Govern one lake, not many silos. Before you go all in, let me be honest with you. There are real trade offs. First, a shortcut adds a dependency. If the source moves or its access changes, the shortcut breaks. Second, watch your latency. Reading across regions or external systems can be slower than a local copy. So measure it, do not assume. Third, open format is the durable bet, but still verify the current format and source support for your scenario. Clear eyes, then commit. So let us lock in the pattern you actually want, the right pattern. Step 1. Land each dataset once in OneLake in an open table format. Step 2. Reference it everywhere else with shortcuts or direct reads. Never recopy it between tools. Step 3. Point power by at the same tables with direct lake and wrap the whole thing in central governance. OneLake to secure, that is the architecture you screenshot and pin to the wall. Let us walk through it end to end with sales data. 3 engines, 1 copy. First, Spark writes a curated sales delta table into OneLake. It writes it exactly once. Then the warehouse queries that table through a shortcut. Your analysts join it with no export. Finally, Power BI builds the executive report on the same table with direct lake. Count the copies made along the way. Spark 0, warehouse 0, Power BI 0, 1 copy, 3 engines, 0 duplication. Let us catch our breath before the big picture. Quick recap. OneLake is one open copy of your data. Every fabric engine reads that same copy. Shortcuts reference data in place. Direct lake puts Power BI on the same copy. And copying between tools, that is the anti-pattern. Reference, do not duplicate, hold those 3 ideas. Now watch them connect. Here is the beautiful part. It all falls out of one single idea. Want many engines on one copy, that is one open format, lake under all of them. Want no data movement and instant cross-tool access, that is shortcuts referencing instead of copying. Want buy on live data and simpler governance, that is direct lake and one lake to secure every feature we covered is a spoke and they all point back to the same hub. One copy open format, master that center and the rest is obvious. Let me hand you the interview answer. Say it in one clean line. OneDrive for data, one open copy, every engine reads it shortcuts instead of copies. Then give the why. It kills copy, sprawl, sync, drift and the export tags between tools. And here is the move that makes you sound senior. Name the trade-off before they ask. Say that shortcuts are a live dependency on their source. That one unprompted caveat. That is what separates senior from junior. Let us put it all on one card. You can keep the decision card. One open copy lives in OneLake. Pick the engine per job, warehouse, Spark or Power BI. Reference with a shortcut by default. Copy only for a frozen snapshot or hard isolation. Put BI on the copy with direct lake and govern the OneLake centrally. One last note, fabric specifics evolve fast. So always verify against the current docs. For your scenario, pin this card. It is the whole lesson in one frame. So here is where we landed. OneLake is the foundation under everything in Fabric. One copy, many engines, shortcuts and direct lake. And this was just the foundation. If you want to build a real end-to-end Fabric solution on top of it, the full Microsoft Fabric Masterclass is linked below. Subscribe for the deep dives coming next. Lakehouse, Warehouse and Power BI, one at a time. One honest question before you go. Are you still copying data between tools? Tell me what for in the comments. I read everyone.